G'day. Um, so the other day I posted up, I think it was yesterday even, I posted up a summary of my sleep deprivation schedule that I'd recorded. So I spend quite a lot of time making sure that I've recorded my sleep interruption and so on, so that when all this comes to heads, that we have a record. I think it's important for people to keep records, and I recommend every person should keep a diary. And if you're not good at writing, or you don't have the drive to do it, there's alternatives. Figure out these days you can record and you can chuck it into a service. You can find a free one that you'll be able to send your little WAV file to, and it'll it'll transcribe it into text and that. And then, if you get on TI1 Voice or something, you can upload your testimony, and you can put it into an interview, and you've got it recorded and it's locked in. And all that information's very valuable, because when you get our biggest issue as people who are being decomposed by the state, which is, let's be clear, that's what's happening. The state is now not a government entity, it's a corporate entity, and it interfaces with a lot of other private corporate entities that have a lot of money and power. And this is the nature of our existence now. All Western countries have been infiltrated. They aren't honouring what they say they are in their constitutions. They are treasonous, they are imposters, they've taken the power from the people, and they are actually acting as corporate entities. And we're allowing that. Let's be very clear, let's take our responsibility here. We allow that through our actions, through allowing it to continue, through not speaking out, through staying silent, through paying our taxes, through allowing them to, send us fraudulent fines, bills. These people have stolen from all of us. They've stolen money, they've stolen our time, they've stolen our blood, sweat, and tears. That's what's happened. That's what's happening. And yous are allowing it by continuing to operate under their system. We don't operate under their system. There's these amazing things. I know in Australia, I'm not sure how it applies. I think in most countries, but if you start looking into common law, bills of exchange, very interesting stuff. That's how I paid my last couple of fines. I said, yeah, cool, take it out of my, it's some Latin term, but basically, essentially at birth, you've got a value associated with your name, with your all caps name. That is your corporation, your corpse. That is that all interactions with our governments are through our corpse, not you as a living person, you as a corporate entity. And the reason why is because corporate entities can't actually enforce their laws, their treasonous laws. I'll get rid of that squeal. They can't enforce those laws on a living being. Corpses can only interact with other corpses, and so they make you a corpse, and you allow that by allowing it. That is, by not speaking up and not stating who you are, which is, and so I recommend people look into this stuff because it's real. And so I've had 3 fines that I've had for 5 kilometers over and stuff like this. It's like you send in this, and they'll send it back and go, oh, you still have to pay it if you don't, and then you just send it again, and guess what? It disappears. That's because it's law. So here, a bill of exchange, that is a bill with your signature written across it in blue ink saying, take it out of my fund, is basically legal tender. It's legal tender. It's written. It's in our laws. And so you don't need to be paying this crap out of your own pockets. Now, you can use this to pay your home loans. You can do You can do. You can use it to pay your bills. You can use it to pay a lot of stuff. It's because they're stolen from us. It's because you're a beneficiary of a fund that's under your name that they trade on the stock market like human traffic. That's why. But anyway, this wasn't the topic I was wanting to speak about. What I wanted to speak about was yesterday. I think I put together a schedule of my sleeping for the last 30 days. And I'm going to find it for you. Just let me pull this out here. And I'll put this over here. I should be organised. I'm never organised with this. It's okay though. We'll get there. All right. So I'm just going to put presentation mode on. And we are going to look at one of these. What's it called? There it is. All right. So, yeah, this is a good one. The news is just rich people paying rich people to tell poor people to blame each other. Isn't that the truth? And yeah, so where are we? So here, this is the post. Now, what did it say? Well, it showed you my sleep schedule. I didn't have every single day, but on here, it said out of the 19 days recorded, about 11 of 19, that is 60% of them, I had essentially no usable sleep. So look at this, 1.5 hours, 3 hours with interruption, 0 hours, 0 hours, around 4 hours broken, around 8 hours medication assisted, right? 0, 0, 7 hours medication assisted. The only ones that I get more than 6 hours is through taking something. I don't like to do that. I don't like to take their poisons. I don't want to take their poisons because they're poison, you know? But then 2.5 hours, I mean, this is my options. I've got 3 hours maximum unless I knock myself out with something. Now, I'm very aware of using those sort of things it's the last thing I want to do. Let's put it that way. And when I do take it, I'm taking a third of a dose, like this is the type of dose I'll be taking. And so it's enough for me to be affected by it. And yeah, essentially it said over those 19 recorded nights, I got 54 hours. Now let's just do a quick calculation there. Let's have a look. So they say what, 6 to 8 hours? So let's say 8 hours for 19 days, shall we? 8 at 19 is 152, and I got 54. So I've got less than, I got about a third. I got 1/3 of the sleep that I should have had, right? And I had to knock myself out to get most of that. So this is what we're dealing with. Now, the reason why I mention it though is that I had someone respond, and like I don't want to single them out, so I'm not going to show you the message. I'm just going to paraphrase it for now. But yeah, here it says here, 5 out of 19, that is nearly a quarter of the nights I had no sleep at all from my attacks. Okay, this is treason. Like, what does this do? Like, this is an act of war. This is like sleep deprivation is a documented form of torture, classified as such by the UN, the European Court of Human Rights. The effects are devastating: cognitive breakdown, emotional instability, physical deterioration, cardiovascular damage, metabolic collapse, psychiatric unraveling. In other words, sleep deprivation is a slow, invisible, deniable way to shorten a human life, right? So make no mistake, this is genocide. When you start to do this, I mean, I'm not talking about this being just 20 days. This has been for the last 900 days. This has been the pattern. This is just representative of the same pattern. 3 years at least. So they use this because it's plausibly deniable, isn't it? Right? You go and say, oh, I can't sleep. They say, oh, that's bad. You've got a sleep issue. No, I don't have a sleep issue. I have a treasonous, war criminal administration issue. That's my issue. And that's all your issues as well. You have a treasonous administration who is slow killing you and your family. Now, we're the ones that realize we're a minority. We're a minority. You know who's a smaller minority, though? The foul who are doing this. They're much smaller. And they're smaller in every way, let me tell you. And so the majority are completely blissfully unaware, and they're chasing their tails trying to find out why they can't sleep at night. Oh, the doctor said. Oh, the doctor said? You mean the doctor who's been put through indoctrination school? Well, yeah, the doctor doesn't even know what the hell they're doing. The doctor's brainwashed. The doctor had to take a jab just so he could keep his job or her job. You know what I mean? And those that didn't, they probably knew about what was going on. And so they're not going to help you either. They're going to probably give you poison. So either way, whether you're going through someone who's ignorant or someone who's complicit, you're not going to get a good end of the deal, are you? So yeah, maybe go and speak to a naturopath or someone who actually has some kind of healthcare, holistic skills and understanding of the human body, who understands that we're a fine system of electrical impulses and energy that flows through us, that keeps our blood flowing, that without that we'd just be a bundle of minerals and elements and bacterias and little living enzymes, without the spirit, without that energy, everything stops. That's what they're attacking with their little beams, but we've all been engineered, whether that's through molecular engineering using abiotic methods like nanotech, whether it's through mRNA vector using synthetic biology, or a genetically engineered bacterium. It doesn't matter. We're all producing fibers. And I implore you all, anyone who still hasn't done it, get yourself a cheap microscope. It'll cost you $50. Get it, test your skin, find the black fibers. You have got antennas all over you. That's what they are. They're sized perfectly for gigahertz frequencies. Perfect. They couple with it. They give you those burns, stings, vibrations, pulses, sound, tinnitus, because they're growing inside your ears as well as outside. They grow on the skin. They grow inside the cavities. They grow in the nose. They grow through the brain even potentially, which could be the reason why people have a built-in BCI. It doesn't have to be graphene oxide. No. It could be grown. That is magnetite crystals formed from the iron in your blood. No shit. This is potential. This is a potential mechanism for how they are doing remote neural monitoring. Now, yes, you can do it without. Yes, I've heard it all before. But I've got fibers. Every person who has ever tested, who's actually done it, that I know, has got fibers. So maybe we should be looking at the fibers. That's all. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so I had a comment on this thing, and it's like, because I'd sat there and I documented all this. I said this isn't a health crisis, it's a genocide, a quiet, Methodical one, happening in bedrooms and hospitals and doctors' offices where we're told we're imagining it. The screenshot below is my sleep record, and that's what I've just shown you. So the establishment is doing this on purpose, and this isn't new. You know, usually it's been the minority groups, or minority groups they love to call it, because they love to remind people that they're a weak thing that you can actually throw your hateful attention on them, because they love us hating each other, right? I'm here to spread the love, not the hate. There's only one. It's GovCorp, right? This is our problem. Those in this filthy establishment that are either complicit or they have sold their soul for money and to keep themselves in a good standing, and that's sad that people don't stand up, because that's what gives them permission. When you don't stand up, when you don't say anything, that's when we bow in that moment. Okay, and so where do we go from here? So someone said, oh, you're just focusing on the wrong thing, and if you stop focusing on that thing, then all your problems will go away. Okay, yeah, look, I truly believe, what we focus on becomes bigger. That's true. But I didn't ask for this when this started. And I wasn't sitting there going, oh, it started. Well, maybe I was. I was pointing out that the establishment was actually doing filthy things, but I can recognize when the world moves because somebody's made it move in a certain way. The establishment identified those people who were counter or against the establishment when it came to COVID. It was the big test. It was the way for them to separate those people who were going to go along with them and those who weren't. And anyone who isn't they are now in the process of taking your sovereignty through the mental health narrative. You see where this goes? So it's like, how do you get rid of the people who can see that we're a bunch of filthy cretins? Well, we find out the people who think that we're a bunch of filthy cretins, and then we put voices in their head. And then when they go and report them, we give them a mental diagnosis. And then we change the laws eventually that says if someone's, then we start putting on the media, oh, this crazy person did this crazy person did that. These people need to be broken out from society. We need to do something about them. We need greater powers. We need greater powers to deal with these crazy people because our society is no longer safe. Now, that's why you're seeing one thing after another on the news, right? This person got broken into. That one stole the car. That one beat up grandma on the street. These are people who have been pushed to the edge, and they are systemic. That is, that they are a symptom. They are symptomatic. They are a symptom of a sick society that has been created through seeding the minds, through pushing people into corners, through disgusting acts, through brainwashing, through creation of desperation. But a lot of them have been directly brainwashed to act out. A lot of them. Like the extremes are the shooters, right? Look at Myron May. And you go and listen to his testimony. Gosh, I just found it the other day. I had never listened to it all. And he's just a lovely guy with a big heart. He did what he did to... I don't condone it, what he did. I think it's unusual, but his mind was being manipulated. He had voices in his head. He had like people who wanted him to do that. He was a scapegoat, and he had justified it within his own mind that that was the only thing that he could do. And when someone's sleep is being affected, they don't have the same faculties, you know. And then on top of that, we're talking 24/7 psychic driving. Do you know what that does to a person's mind? Go and ask ChatGPT what sleep deprivation does to a person's mind. Go and ask ChatGPT what would happen to a person if they were sleep deprived and someone was using psychic driving techniques on them. And then ask what would happen to them if that was applied to them every single day for months or years. Just ask and see what it says. All right. And this isn't just happening, you know, it's not just happening to adults. This is being put on to children, man. Like 6 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. Could you imagine what these cretins are doing? I know 3 women who are going through the extreme sex trafficking focused um, program, right? So each of us got a different program. We're all on different programs. People have to understand this. The 24/7 thing isn't people sitting there taking shift work. Yes, there's gang stalkers. That's the other thing I wanted to speak about. There's gang stalkers. They're all doing the on the foot, on the ground, da da da. But if you think that guy in the street that you see that's doing the street theatre, or the one driving next to you in his car, is the same one that's actually listening in on everything that you're saying, thinking, doing, then you've got it wrong. These people are just paid, or they're incentivized, or they're mind controlled to do that particular part. Like, this is a technique of the CIA and of all these agencies. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. This is why these gang stalkers can go and do this without feeling guilty. Like, if they're sitting there filming you, they don't have your thoughts, mate. And they're probably told, if they say something that only you know, it's because they've probably been sent that detail. That's it. Yeah, mention this to him. And they're just like, oh, it's random. All right, we'll do that. It's not like these people are like, what are they doing? They're sitting there watching you go to the toilet, and then they're like, oh, quick, he's about to leave, jump in my car, I better run up to his store before he gets there so I can stand in line to annoy him. No, that's not what's happening. They get the call. They're like, you have to go there, you have to go here and do this. Make sure he sees you. Da 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 da. Right? It's a separation. There's a separation of causes. Right? The thing that torments you 24/7 in your house, wherever you go, every single minute of every single day, that's still playing. That program's still playing when that gang stalker's there. It's meant to make you feel, like you're constantly watched. That's all. It's to increase the stress. I want people to separate the in-person stuff with the machine, because the machine can weaponize a person who's not part of any conspiracy. They're not paid. They're nothing. It can just weaponize any person, dependent on how much control it has over them. But it can weaponize a bum in the street to get aggressive when you walk past them. A lot of targets face violence and scenarios. Ran which and I've had it. I've had a guy kick in the door of my car. And it wasn't really provoked. It was just, and it was like they were amped up. And that's all they do. They just like it only takes a little thing, and if you switch on the right switches in the brain, then the person's going to flip out. I remember saying hi to the guy once, and he didn't say anything, and I was just like, "Oh, I guess okay, whatever." And then he's just lost his shit and was screaming at me, and I'm like, "That's not a very logical response to what just happened." It's because there's no logic there because it's gone. The mind has been tweaked, you know. And so yeah, there's all those campaigns going on the ground. There's the gangs and there's the groups and so on. But this is part of the agenda, a larger agenda. This is bigger than you and I. This is like every person sitting in their home who's got no fucking idea, and they're being cooked at night as well, right? They just don't know what it is. They think they've got some. They'll be at the doctor's the next day. Oh, I've got this grumbling in the guts. Yeah, you're being cooked. It's just a slow cook. Don't worry. You'll eventually end up with some illness, and then that's how they reduce the population. Plausibly deniable. Completely. One person gets this ailment, one person gets that one person gets another one. We are in a genocide. It's just a controlled demolition, controlled genocide. Same thing, right? Like the Twin Towers, right? It's just the same thing. They bring it down nice and controlled, right? The explosives all go off at the right point, so it all comes down nice and evenly, right? And so, what do we do? Well, I think common law is definitely the first good step. There's some really great people doing some excellent initiatives here in Australia. Like they had a grand jury hearing recently, which basically indicted um, those in power who had committed a number of like from treason right through to genocide and all kinds of charges, which then got sent to the ICC. Now, the ICC. Now that's interesting. Is this a taken organisation? Like, is this just going to be? Is it like handing, asking those who have done the crime to actually implicate themselves? I'm not sure. I don't know. I need to look into that more. But there must be something that can be done, and it's got to start with people standing up and standing together. You know, it's really important. Anyway, that was just me rattling on about any number of topics. I hope everyone's doing well, and um, yeah, yeah. Peace out, and enjoy your weekends. All right, ciao for now.